Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up Slicer and Blender and link them together. Okay. Before getting started, you're going to need to have Blender installed. You also need to have 3D Slicer installed. I'm using version 2.78c. I don't see any reason why it should not work with versions a little newer and a little older, so pretty much anything in the late 2.7 series should be fine. And for Slicer, I'm using 4.7. Yep, 4.70. Okay, so track these down, have them installed. If that's a big hurdle, then this video probably isn't for you. Okay, next thing you'll want to do is go to my GitHub page and go to the Slicer Link project and then download the zip. Okay, after you download the zip, you'll have Slicer Link master.zip, and I've put it conveniently in this demo folder. Go ahead and extract here. If you extract to the folder, it makes another subfolder within it. So extract here and it'll save you a step. So when you double click this folder, you should see a file called init and a folder called slicer module. We're now going to rename this Slicer Link. Okay, so we downloaded, check. We unzipped, and we relabeled. Now you should make a new folder and label it scripts. Okay, and this folder can be technically anywhere. If this is familiar to you, if you already have a scripts folder for Blender, you can skip this step. But if this is new, then you need to create a scripts folder, create a new one within it called add-ons, and a new folder beside that called modules. Then you want to copy the Slicer Link folder into the add-ons folder. Okay, so let's review that again. We downloaded the zip file, we unzipped it by extracting it here, not to its own folder. So when you look in it, it should immediately have an init folder, not another containing folder beneath it. We created a scripts folder with two subfolders, and then we pasted the Slicer Link into the add-ons folder. Okay, that is all the file system setup we have to do. So now we're going to open Blender and just have it right here for convenience. I'm going to go to File, User Preferences, and right here, under the File System tab, you can type this in manually or you can navigate to it. Oops. Because it does not need the quotation marks. Okay, just make sure that you can see your Slicer Link folder in the scripts folder. Okay, see demo folder scripts. And now save the user settings. When we come over here to the add-ons tab, now don't get ahead of me and get tempted to click on it because it won't work yet. Okay, you'll see it, but you need to restart Blender for that to stick. File, User Preferences, Add-ons, then Slicer. Okay, now when you click this, Just click it once and give it a second. It'll take it a moment to enable. Don't double, triple click or anything. Okay. Alright, and then you'll have a temporary folder preset for you. Okay. You can set this folder to be anything, but for right now, just leave it as that. Okay, that way Slicer knows exactly where to look for. Right, and now in your Open DentalCAD tab, you will have a Slicer link panel. Alright, so we're going to put Blender down for a second, or go ahead and leave it open. Let's go over here to Slicer now. We have to do basically the equivalent of that, but in Slicer language. Alright, so we're going to go to Edit, Application Settings, Modules. Edit, Application Settings. Oh, we're already there. Modules. And then we're going to add a module path. And you're going to point this to your add-ons, Slicer link, Slicer module, okay? And then once you've done that, it says restart required. You hit OK. And we'll go ahead and restart Slicer. Now when we go to our modules panel or drop down, under the examples, we should see Blender Monitor. I'm going to click on it, and our temp directory is there. Let's Blender Scene. Okay. We need to make our temp directory match the can't type there. Match the same folder that's right here. Okay. Scripts, add-ons, Slicer link, Slicer module. Create a new folder, call it TMP. Here we go. Okay, so now we can hit start. Now we come back to Blender, and we're just going to use, let's add a torus, grab it. I'm going to make it green. We'll make the cube blue. So we're going to select any objects that we want to then follow in Slicer. Make a Slicer group, and we'll start our Slicer link. Now by the time we get back over here, we have ourselves some objects in Slicer. I don't know where the torus is, and if I move this over here, and if I choose the view that just has the 3D view, now I put this over here so we can see them both at the same time. When I grab this, it will move the object in Slicer. Yeah, I guess we can stop this Stop that. And I think if you do that, you can then move things. You can start it again and start it again. And this won't refresh, I think, until you grab it. Okay, and so I'm not sure with the restarting. Yeah, we got an error there, and that happens occasionally. So it's definitely experimental. I think the rule of thumb is save often in both, and I would use it more of a static. Use one as a static viewer for the other. Don't try to do things back and forth between them. You get everything as close to correct as you think in Blender. Start the link just as a viewer to kind of confirm everything. Okay, good luck.